All right, so I'm gonna have someone put a link in the description for this. If you don't have that, because this was played somewhere else, which is always okay, go ahead and try and use YouTube and search for Goku versus Kid Buu, Till I Collapse. Hopefully, you'll find the right music video. It's not Goku in Super Saiyan 3. Do you know who that is, though? It's Gokai. Your stories were covered up for you. This doesn't happen in real life unless you thought that Dragon Ball Z episodes didn't just exist for like a million years. That's the very ancient art style that you saw. Akira Toriyama's name didn't appear until, the past 400 years? Nothing you ever had to spend on a different kind of a world was ever going to have to bring what you said you thought wasn't in a different kind of a universe in, and every kind of telling about what you are never had to be in a different kind of a world, in a different kind of a universe, for whatever you said that you could be, and whatever you said you wanted to be, and a part of whatever your reality ever had to be, and understand any kind of an understanding of what you wanted to see and think and be in a different part of what you thought was going on into a universe and this reality. This whole time in the world that Gohan and Goku fused in a fusion dance that was perfect, they didn't really have to aspect out this whole world in the universe where Goten and Trunks never did a kind of a universe like that one. They called a different kind of a friends in one kind of a world. You're not really Goten or Trunks, are you? No, a different kind of a kid, but he was called in, and you didn't really know what Thor was going to be when he said Gotenks bring it in. This never had to worry about what you wanted to say and what kind of a different kind of a universe you ever had to understand what was happening in a different kind of a universe back in time once over again into the next universe once again said. This was never taken back before ever time that you ever wanted to say about different in the world that we were in. This is never in a world that you ever had to understand what kind of a world and what kind of a reality everyone ever had to try about saying in what you are. So this was never gone in what we could say to be, and this was saying in what we could never try to be, and we could never try to be exactly what you ever had to say what wasn't me. This was never even trying what you said before, and this was never even gone into a universe where you ever have to say what you are. Did you ever have to think that someone really cool in a universe who really wanted to make a difference in people's lives, like Batman, Batman, the real one, Bruce Wayne, wouldn't be able to figure out how exactly to come out with these licks in different kinds of worlds where you thought maybe in real life that he was just going to say he could come out with a rap record or an album or something cool like that and make sure that his music kicked the shit out of everything you ever knew about and understood, or that you knew that he could come out with something and make sure that it was free online and anyone could use it, and he would tell you that there would be a million of them who said they were me, said they came and did it in outside like around with me, and that wasn't okay, but you ever had to understand what a person was going to do about real life, what Eminem was versus some slim shady asshole piece of shit. But you didn't know what was going to happen in a different kind of a world where you thought that the teen spirit, the Holy Ghost, wasn't going to be someone who looked out for you in the real world of all we are and all the different places that we said we could never be that far from, and everyone had to understand what you never had to believe, and I could never ever have to understand why you thought I never had to be what these were, and I never had to understand what you were before I said who you are, and you didn't know. But I knew who you are, and I could say anything about what your universe was going to be, and I never had to understand why you thought this whole planet wasn't going to be a different kind of a universe that we were in, and I could never have to think about the universe you weren't really that much farther in than I could have ever had to be in a different kind of a world, and I was going to be faster than thee. So you never had to understand what was going to happen to you, and you never had to understand what was going to be this in with me, and I could never have to see exactly what you wanted to be in some kind of a faceless reality and some kind of an aspect to you never understanding what I thought I was going to be in a different kind of a reality, and I never had to understand exactly what you thought I was going to be back in some kind of a time without these realities, and I never had to understand exactly what you were and what I wanted to be and what I wanted to say and what I wanted to say before you ever had to say what I was going to be before you said I wouldn't have to be exactly what you are, and I never had to be exactly what you wanted to say who you were, and I could never have to be exactly what you said you wanted to be, but this was never even done before. I never even had to be exactly what you were before again, and this was worlds, I know. Worlds you know about before again. This was never gone again, and this old conted out probably a different kind of a world that you could never have to worry about, in some kind of a world that I could never have to worry about which one is here, and this was never even here before you ever had to say what I was going to be before you even got to me, but I could never try to say what you were going to be and do before I know. Who did you say who you were before? Again, in a different kind of a universe and world where you knew that you couldn't really take people's sounds away, so however much longer you thought it had to be before you were allowed to do that, How long did you think I had to aspect this one out for before you understood that you weren't allowed to tell me I couldn't say a single word or 400 different words in it? But what, you could copyright a speech if I just read it out to you? What's going on? If I read you Harry Potter, did you understand that that's a speech and you can't tell the world that they can't just hear it from someone else? What did you think was happening? Did you think someone had to break copyright laws or shatter them apart? Did you understand that I've never broken a law in my single life? I have a lot more than one life, so don't worry about any kind of a situation where, yes, altogether it was one. Did you know that the idea that all the stories really are just one story is a duh thing when you know that that one story has all the other stories in it? Come on, guys, it's ours, the never-ending one. But you know about the nothing that comes, that moves? Never had to understand exactly what you wanted to be in a different kind of a world or over into your realities, where I got really pissed off at a certain kind of a situation coming undone. But you could never have to believe what I was going to be. You never had to understand what I was going to have to say to people. And I was never going to have to believe that you never had to understand exactly what was going to happen in a real world, where people released music for free on the internet, and it was supposed to be untraceable, it was supposed to be cool, it was supposed to be awesome, and then some piece of shit like Marshall Mathers decided it was his in the first place, and everything else, that didn't matter. It wasn't his, yours, theirs, that he couldn't understand where you were and what you wanted to say, but he wants to put a nasty fucking bit into every fucking cool lyric and song and verse and piece of reality and poetry that you ever had to believe and understand in. It's a different kind of a universe where the 90s internet was where Eminem was having to stay in peace and love and aspect into our hostility of a certain sure as fire hell set reality. So believe that I never had to understand what you thought was going on when that guy's an albino piece of shit and you need to kick the fuck out of him anytime you wanted to get to know about him. And just because I'm really good at things and this is going to get super famous doesn't mean you can tell me I can't say what I wanted to say. I never do anything for money. It doesn't happen like that. I never am going to work for money. It doesn't exist in a situation where you live in a world where you were doing anything other than living on the idea that you could be a prostitute. Well, sure enough, no. Your Tinder only has value because of the pimpdom of the American government. That's prostitution, but it sucks that you think that I don't think I should feel bad for people who are stuck in prostitution rings and circles for a long aspect of reality and time. But whatever you thought had to happen in a different kind of a reality where I wasn't going to get pissed off at everything happening to you and around you, or you never had to understand that you didn't have to understand what was going to go on in a certain kind of aspect of reality that you never had to believe in a different kind of a world where we could say exactly what we wanted to say in a different kind of a person, wherever you wanted to say you were a different kind of a person to me, or you wanted to say what you were in a different kind of a reality. Here once said to me, I could never have to believe what you wanted to say to me every other kind of a time you wanted to say some different kind of an equation. But who are you? Do you try for some kind of a reality where we can have fun in? Did you know that in the idea of what you are being something cool to me, you had to believe that I was going to be something really, really cool to you just for fun to start it out and see what you were going to do later on with or without me involved in the situation? Involved there again because once before again, I guess. Yeah, no, I forgot. I lost track of everything I wanted to talk about probably. But that's okay. I'll probably start over again and get really, really into the idea that you didn't know that Gohan and Goku fused. If you watched it, like what, on Toonami? Yeah, no, you had no idea. But the video has to be called Goku versus Kid Buu just to get seen. Akira Toriyama died in prison, by the way. No, yes, when you steal ancient stories. But then, the fraud was that he convicted people for trying to sell them too. They belong to everybody and not just me and you? Okay, come on, what? Justly, me and you, sure. Sure enough, in this kind of a different sort of a reality, they were selling to distribute or selling because they wanted to make money, but whatever you thought was going to happen. I don't have to sell Dragon Ball Z, and I won't sell anything ever all in my life. It doesn't have to work in that kind of a reality, but the Avatar is alive, and he's doing a lot of cool shit too, and he's never going to have to sell anything for his entire existence. But whoever you thought you were when he thought, and pretty sure in real life, he was going to be pretty cool about this whole entire universe, and you never had to understand what was going to happen in a different kind of a world, in a different kind of a universe, ever on taking it into a different kind of an aspect of reality, and you never had to understand exactly what I wanted to say in a different kind of a universe. But this was never going to be in a different kind of a person in a certain aspect of reality ever under any other kind of a person ever. Now, see, I lost track of everything I wanted to say again, and I never had to worry about what you wanted to talk about and talk about and think about whatever I wanted to do, that I fucked up the sound somehow along the way the whole time in the first place. But I never had to worry about where you were going to be or where you were going to say that you wanted to be in the first place without me. But I never had to worry about whether or not you should have figured out whether or not I was going to be in a different kind of a universe where I already knew that time was space, but I understood it as the aspect of my own reality. But hey, whether or not you think that like 7 to like 9, probably 10 people, 10 I think, yeah, like, so like me and 9 other people invented time in the first place. It's called music, it's called space, but you needed to understand any other kind of a reality. You never had to understand it, and that means that you could actually go ahead and get questions sent to Honiker. He's online, he knows a lot of shit, but like, he could send things to me. You could literally ask anything about time and I'd be able to answer it to you, but people won't. Did you understand that I invented air myself, though? Yeah, no, will, green light, it's mine. It's like, duh, for everyone to use, but you didn't understand what happened when Batman saw it for the first time and was like, thinking he never had to be alone in anything he could do. Never had to be alone. So he created hope, blue light, water. That's our real world. So if you ever had to understand what was going to happen and do these different kinds of planets and different kinds of planets into these different kind of a world and whatever I wanted to say, did you understand that that was a different kind of a thing to be said? That I had to say it in a different way that led into another one and it made you think in a certain way? What if that was the part of the song that I wanted to say to you in the first place anyway? Did you know that I can't really be told that I was fucking up the whole time and it didn't sound real? Even though what I wanted to do was make sure that you understood that this was real. That we could get the entire internet ripped apart and taken down if I went so extreme as to say every kind of a different sort of set for words. But you didn't understand what I was going to be in this kind of a set for reality, and you didn't understand what I was going to do. And that's right, a certain kind of a position that you ever had to understand. It was a different kind of a reality and aspected out backwards in time before I ever had to figure out what was going to happen to a different kind of a person and some sort of sure set for realities that I never even had to understand exactly what you wanted to do and understand this or this without you. But you never had to understand what was going to happen. I never had to believe what you ever had to think of what was going to happen. And that's that I never had to understand exactly what you wanted to believe in and matter in. Oh, Vegeta was meteorite chunks. So believe that evil substitution was the name of the technique, where we just like pretended to fuse and subbed in another person. The plan for Gotenks was actually to have one boy who was with Boo split into 2 boys that were actually each like trippier, I guess. So understand what kind of a reality you ever had to be understood in and aspected out into some kind of a specific set for whatever I wanted to have to say and whatever you wanted to do and say to me. Never had to be wrong, or that you never had to believe that I was going to think you were going to do anything but aspect your own reality or tell me what you were before I ever had to say what you weren't, what you wouldn't want to say. What you wouldn't want to say in a different kind of a place, and I ever had to believe that there was a certain set of sound that made the song what it was in the first place. But if you had to do something in the first place, this different kind of an aspect of reality you were ever really going to be safe in, what kind of a place did you ever had to think that you were going to start in just to be really that cool in the first place anyway? Did you know that if I talked like a badass, well, I mean, I don't know. Is it scary to do that? That to be bad? To be real bad? Do you guys want to know the scientific definition for bad? How it is actually possible to be either good bad or evil bad? Did you know that it means been through hell? Your priorities can be all kinds of fucked up. Or just what, different? Well, did you understand what was going to happen in real life when you didn't know what he was going to do? The bad guy? But like, what are you going to do? Kill him? He's not scared. It works better in a different kind of a song if I just said, what are you going to do? Kill me? So you didn't have to understand what was going to happen in real life when you didn't have to know about who was who and what was what in a different kind of a reality. But you got a really fucking badass avatar right now. He's not really going to stop fucking with people, but he doesn't want to fight anymore. Did you understand what that meant in real life? You can't really not want to put him in a Karate Kid movie where he's a child who knows how to fight for his life in insane circumstance and knows how to teach other kids to fight all the time. But he doesn't have to have an old school, old man build like Mr. Miyagi for you to think that you never have to put him in a ring where he has to fight for his life. And he'll be a child when you do that. Do you understand what that would actually mean to see on screen? There are friends that can fight forever, and you'd never want to make them have to fight again. That you needed to understand that there was a certain aspect for reality where You had to believe that people were different. And ass was a word for value. You don't say booty if you're cool. You understood that ass was a cool word. So badass meant tortured silver. And if you needed a kanji for badass, go ahead and use the one for steel.